Okay, so I'm going to try and keep out of the way a little bit so you'll see me writing. For Orsino, love is only about performance. Who wants to start me off? Any kind of idea, something? Sam?
Well, in respect with his love of Olivia, it kind of is because, so for example, in the National Theatre production, he's like stood outside the house and with the flowers and the teddy bear, and he's very caught up in his own monologues about love to the point of where he actually forgets why he's even there.
Right. How can we put caught up in his own showing like a self-obsession?
He kind of fits the Petrarchan stereotype that he's kind of obsessed with.
Good. What a good start, thank you. Right. Give you a chance to write that down. We'll just cover the board in ideas first, and then we'll think about how we would shape this into a response. Yeah? Talia, would you like to go next?
We kind of said the poetic nature of his language when he speaks and how that's basically. We can't remember which one it is. We thought it was RSC, or he's like actually painting.
It is, yeah. So as another in favour is to look at Act 1, Scene 1, how he opens the play, and in the RSC version, how his language is also supported by the whole, the romantic, like a capital R, the painting, the music. Right, lovely. Okay, Georgia?
I went to the 2017 production as well. I think it's Act 2, Scene 4, where obviously the two actors kiss and like feel the romantic tension. I went that it shows that his love is changeable and went with the open mind.
So is this that yes, it's performative or no?
I was going to go with no.
Right, okay.
And
So
yes at the same time.
and that's where a good essay starts to develop, that it can be both. So in Act 2, Scene 4, Feste draws our attention to the changeable nature of his personality. Remember the opal, the taffeta. But in the RSC version, I put opal and taffeta. There seems to be a lot of kind of genuine feeling, and there's a kiss in that one.
I think I also went with Orsino seems to genuinely be himself around Viola, and the love he has for Olivia is completely performance and makes him a different person.
So one of the ways straight away that we could think about debating this question would be to compare how he is with Olivia, or he's not even with Olivia, his approach to Olivia and when he is with Viola. Because it's this word here, isn't it, that allows for the debate. It's only about performance. So that's our key to our AO5 there. Lovely, this is a very good start. Patrick?
We agreed that his love is very performative, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
He still experiences the emotions. So in the National Theatre production, where he finds out this kind of thing going on between Cesario and Olivia, he doesn't shout like in other productions. He kind of breaks down, all the emotions are released.
So is that looking at Act 5?
Yeah, 5.1.
Yeah, there's
5.1.
only one.
Yes,
yeah. So we might want to look at Act 5 there, and is this where he threatens to kill?
Yeah, but it's not so much a threat rather than
right, lovely.
just him expressing himself.
Right. So he threatens violence. It's there, it's in the language. But again, is that performance? Like, is he saying it for the sake of it, or is it genuine? And you're saying that in the National Theatre production, it's much less threatening, whereas maybe in the Tim Carroll production, he seems a bit more heated. And that's what we do for AO5. You don't stick to just one thing. Or yes, he is, because it's, well, he could be, but then this production and then this critic, and you keep wrestling with that. And that's a hard skill to develop, I know, but it's why it's going to be brilliant for those of you going into a career in law. Anything like that where you've got to weigh things up and you've got to go, make decisions. I might sound really weird, but you're learning that skill through reading Twelfth Night. So it's going to be applicable to so many things. Olivia, were you wanting to go into law? You still want to do a lit degree? You change. I've put you off forever. What are you doing? You know what? You're young. You have plenty of time. Let's not worry. And Bethany, Poppy, who would like to give me?
Well, we were discussing how his the performative nature in different productions can be played up for comedic value.
Right.
So or sometimes in the National Theatre One they take it just that little bit more seriously.
That's lovely, because we don't want to lose sight of genre here, do we? So let's think within all of this. We mustn't lose sight of the why. Why is it performative? Why isn't it? What is Shakespeare using this character of Orsino to say? And I think we've got to come back to this Petrarchan stereotype in order to develop that, and of course think about productions. So where does this Petrarchan stereotype come from? Where does it exist? Who was Petrarch? Georgia?
So you write loads of letters. I think that's what I remember.
He was a writer, poetry, letters. So that this Petrarchan character is just that. It's a character. It's a fictional, made-up thing. Yes, we may recognise it. We may recognise it in our friends. I recognise myself at 17. I was a boy's broken up with me, swoon. Pathetic. I had no good feminist role models in my life, all right. At least you lot have got me. But it's a literary tradition. So what's Shakespeare may be doing here? Because his other Petrarchan lover that he gives us, the most obvious one, is Romeo in a tragedy. So what's he doing here? Olivia? Why would you open a comedy with this Petrarchan stereotype wallowing in his own both happiness and misery? Oh, she rejects me. Oh, but I kind of love being rejected.
Was it fashionable?
Yes, so if it was fashionable for people to act like that, what's Shakespeare kind of saying there? Sam?
He's kind of poking fun of it.
He is. He's mocking it. He's parodying it. He's saying, but he also gives a duke that status. He may be saying, look, this can happen to all of us, to any of us. This isn't, and Romeo is of a high status as well. So there's definitely something about mocking the stereotype, because we're in a comedy. Talia?
I'm not quite sure if this makes sense, but we kind of said that maybe the whole idea of the Petrarchan lover and the courtly lover would be perceived as almost admirable to an audience.
Admirable.
Admirable, not admirable.
Yeah. It's that nautical thing coming through. Let's discuss that then. What would be admirable about it? And does it have to be seen as being admirable all the time?
I'm trying to say like in contrast to how we would perceive it now as being an obsessive thing and
Yeah, you've just been a stalker.
yeah, maybe back,
No means no, Orsino.
yeah. But maybe back then we would have seen it as romantic and devotion.
Okay. Does that? I'll buy that. I'll go with that. But is that consistent throughout?
No.
It's not, is it? There comes a point where even Orsino, you know, not long after this, Valentine's going to say, she said she's going to wear this veil for how long? 7 years. 7 years. She's like, that's a hard no, right? So I wonder if he establishes it as something admirable only to kind of knock it down. But yeah, in different productions. So yes, in the RSC one, maybe it's a little bit over the top, but it's also quite attractive. Whereas in the National Theatre one, where he's on his knee outside the house with a big well, I don't know, maybe that's what you would like. A boy or a girl outside your house with a teddy and a big bunch of flowers. Yes, no? No? Olivia?
This is like a very, I don't know, it's a weird idea, but I read it. It's very like abstract, but do you know how women used to like drop handkerchiefs and stuff?
Yes.
This man said that instead of dropping a handkerchief, she wears it on her face, if you know what I mean.
Ah, so within courtly love, the woman would drop the handkerchief as a signal that you can pick it up and be hers. But here, instead of dropping it, she's literally sticking it over her face and going, "Go away." So he's even misreading the conventions of courtly love. That's lovely, Olivia. Nice, I hadn't thought about that before. That's not too abstract, I thought that was a good idea. Keep going, keep talking to me. Georgia?
Well, you were talking about the way he speaks to the differences with Viola and Olivia as well. Because, yeah, when he thinks that she's Cesario, he speaks to her normally.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as he finds out that she's Viola and he proposes to her, he goes back to that poetic language.
What does he call her?
I can't remember what he says at the end. He says something like, does he call her a queen?
What kind of queen? Anyone? My fancy's queen. So it goes from boy to my fancy's queen. Ooh. And I think I'm right in saying that word queen, even in Shakespearean time, would have had homosexual connotations. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? So that's where the line between AO2 and AO5 blurs, doesn't it? Because you're using that language to support a reading there. Just like Emma Smith it does with the word.
Language that you love?
No? But maybe Georgia, sorry. I've realised watching back some of my videos, I don't sound harsh, don't I? I'm really sorry if I do. I wonder every year why students say they're scared, and then I listen back and I'm like, God, I sound angry all the time. No, you won't. No, Georgia, well, perhaps, but it wasn't the word I was looking for. I'm going to try this. What's the word Emma Smith focuses in on? Adore. Look, Poppy, you're doing it. Come on. I'll park that up there because it's not entirely relevant here. But the fact that the word adore is only used in a romantic context in this play. So even we heard Emma Smith doing the same thing, going, on the one hand this, but even then the language contradicts it a bit. Don't try and pin Shakespeare down. I don't think that's what he wanted. You know what I mean? Okay, keep going. Any other ideas? Should we talk a bit more about this violence thing? What was I saying about why he threatens to kill? Did I say he perhaps was just basing that on?
Jealousy.
He is jealous, yes, so that's the justification that he gives. Is it a noble jealousy, he calls it? But where's he got the idea from that that's what you do?
Bible, because there's like the story, is it like Abraham, who's like, for instance, his son?
There is, and also one, he says, like to the
Egyptian thing.
Egyptian thief.
Kidnap like a princess or something, but like kill her so his enemies won't get run over.
Yeah. So it's the idea of if I can't have you, nobody else can, and that reference there to the story like to the Egyptian thief, it lends credence to this idea that Orsino's only understanding of love is from kind of literary and conventional stuff. It's not based in the real world. What's our strongest piece of evidence for that? How many times has he visited and met with Olivia, to our knowledge, in this play? None. We've never seen them together till the end, have we?
Yeah, it's the first time they meet face to face.
Fair, yeah. Now, obviously, there could be other stuff going on, but these are not real people. These are just characters, and we just go with what's in our play. They haven't met. Valentine has been the go-between. Even in the National Theatre production, when he's outside the house, he doesn't see her. I've just thought of something else that perhaps gives credence to that. Cesario doesn't know who she is when he arrives. She arrives. Now that's handled very well in lots of productions. They all put a veil on. But perhaps it's because Orsino hasn't been able to describe her properly because he's not seen her. It's just a little aside. That doesn't need to go in any essays. It's just a little thought that I had, a rumination. I knew we'd end up spending all the time on this, but is this helpful? Right, okay. Now, you've mentioned Bloom. Have we got, so we've got a couple of nice references to productions there. I think that kiss is very important. The difference with the violence in 5-1 and the open in Act 1, Scene 1. That's 3 productions, or 3 references to productions. I think that would be ample in an essay. Critics then. Bloom.
He very much follows this idea of the Petrarchan conceit. He says self-intoxicated.
So Bloom refers to Orsino as self-intoxicated. Lovely. I'll just write that down, Poppy. Green doesn't show up very well. Put these down here. Good, good. Poppy?
I can't remember who it was, but I think he said about how, like Orsino's Natalis, about Francis Queen, and he says that leaves us like securely in the realm of make believe or something.
Yes. Oh, I was just doing this one yesterday. I was literally, I can find it and add it on. So the fact, so it's directly referencing this, isn't it? That it's almost like he hasn't learned anything here. He's still firmly in the realm of make-believe. I think that's the quote, isn't it? Oh, that's going to bother me now. Is it Cash?
It might be.
But given that Viola has spent all of her time with him playing a part, maybe she's all right with that as well. Maybe she's going to be fine not wearing her woman's weeds and still being boy. You know, more liberating, I suppose, for her in the time period. I know she's not real, by the way. She's not real. Okay, any other critics that come to mind for this? Right, so we've got 2. Where are we going to go to look for some more? In the classroom, where I've put a big document of critics on, what's the website called? With the flip. I can never remember the name of this. With the notes. Quizlet. I get a K in my head. I don't know, Quizlet. Right, okay. All of that, it looks a bit messy, doesn't it? So guess what your next task is? I want you to turn that, again, working with someone, if you want. I could understand why you wouldn't want to at this point, because these are very personal, But I'd like you to turn that into a proper essay plan. I'd also like you to write me an introduction. And did I say yesterday about rewriting an essay? About redoing. So what I want you to do before next Wednesday, you have a choice. George has already done it. You can either redo a section A, or you can redo this question. And if you want to redo a section A, I will give you a different scene. In fact, we did the scene yesterday. Did we do a scene yesterday? I'm getting so confused with what I did with your class and my other class.
We looked over the same scene.
But we didn't look at 3-4. Right, okay. So I will do that, and I'll give you a week, but I'd like you to have a go at another essay. You can of course do both. But yeah, I'll give you either a section A or you can do this one. And if you just let me know by the end of this lesson, I'll maybe put, if you're not doing it, I'll still put it in classroom in case you want to have a go. So that's, you've got 20 minutes to do a plan and write me an introduction. Okay. Did you find out who it was? Leach. L-E-A-C-H. Double E.
Yeah, and it's just securely in the world, maybe.
Lovely. Leaves us securely, not firmly, securely. In the world of me. God, I've got it all wrong.
I think I said that.
Cool. Lovely.